What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 2 Degrees podcast. We are currently in Lafayette, Louisiana. We just got lunch in Baton Rouge, and yeah, we were in New Orleans this morning and on our way to Texas. In the meantime, decided to take a pit stop as we bring our guest on today. He is one of Toronto's, I'd say, up and coming voices and personalities as he is traversing the comedy scene, the commercial scene, the podcast scene. He had his billboard for his show up in Nathan Phillips. No, Nathan Phillips. See, I don't even remember Toronto anymore. In Dundas Square, we got Marlon Palmer, everybody. What's going on,
Thanks
Marlon?
for having me, man. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me,
yeah.
bro.
If you see me wiping and dabbing my face, it's because it's fucking hot. We're
It must
expecting
be
a
nice,
oh man, and we're expecting a storm. So we're kind of just bracing
but
for
it's not a
that.
snowstorm, so God bless.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one thing I'm definitely grateful for. Oh my God, what is it in Toronto right now?
It's just really cold. We're not getting hit with the snow yet. Like I've noticed the past couple of years, snow doesn't really hit in December anymore or
Yeah.
November. It's usually like January to like May is snow. And then then we're
I'm
good
trying.
after that. But
I want to say it was like 2011, maybe 10. But my birthday is in June, and I remember I went to a beach party and it snowed in June in Toronto. That's
that
yeah,
is wild.
yeah. Yeah, so let's dive into this. Marlon, are you where's the separation between Marlon and that dude McFly?
Um, I would say that dude McFly is just like a more energetic version of me. I think it's
Okay.
me like just turned up. It's not really much that is different about me. Like it's not a persona or anything like that, but more of just a character. I'd like to call it. I guess people associate it with like Jamaica and comedy and oxtail and all those things, but for the most part, I think I'm probably a little bit more turned down in person. I'm not always jokey, like unless I know you like that,
Yeah.
then it's a little different. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it because that do McFly as a brand, I guess, is more or less the things that I just enjoy doing that I found a way to monetize. So like I liked playing video games. I went on Twitch. I liked making videos and skits and acting. I did YouTube. I like getting my opinions out there. I do Twitter and all that other stuff. So there's just different mediums that I get to dabble in things that I enjoy doing. So
Hmm.
it's really not that far of a separation.
Gotcha. So in terms of, because you've expressed your interest in breaking into the TV world,
Mhm.
are you bringing McFly there or are you bringing Marlon now?
Probably Marlon.
Hmm.
The McFly thing, I feel like it's had its moment, and like I'm even now, like when promoters or club owners are putting me on a flyer for something, they when they ask me, that they ask you like, what do you want your name to say or whatever. Now I just for the most part say Marlon Palmer. I don't really say that do McFly, unless it's something specifically that do McFly related.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, other than that, like I'm just trying to establish my own name out there right now and make that the brand.
Dope, dope, dope. So I want to just explore that McFly brand just a little bit longer. Because for your new followers, especially the ones that you gain, they know you as Marlon Palmer. They see you on your podcast. They see you on your video, your C stand. What would you call it? Like
Mhm.
a entertainment weekly, daily type show.
Kind of a TV film review type podcast.
Now, but before all that, like you were one of the OGs in Canada when it comes to the YouTube scene. What was
Yeah.
that like breaking into that and absolutely dominating it when you came out with that. What was that like?
Yeah, it was fun. It was something that I kind of stumbled on by accident. It was more or less just to make my friends laugh, and then it ended up, doing what certain videos do on the internet, finding just strangers, and more strangers sent it to more strangers, and it built from there.
Mhm.
And it was just a great opportunity for me to spend more time with my friends as well. Like we were all like on different parts of the city, especially in
Yeah.
GTA. When you're in high school, it's like getting everywhere it wasn't as easy as it is now. There was no Uber or anything like that.
Mhm.
And so it was just a way to hang out with my friends a lot more, to do fun things with my friends. We were goofballs without a camera anyway, so it just made sense to put it out there. Plus, I love the tension, so that was
Mhm.
always great. I'm like, oh, you can get more attention, you can get compliments on here. Like, this is fun. This is great. I never, especially at that point, I had never seen like the evil underbelly, so to speak, of the internet. Like, for the most parts, my comments were pretty good, and if it was a bad comment, it was a guy, and I didn't care about guys, so I was just like, whatever.
But now, so like with those comments, what did that make you want to like, I don't know, address those comments, or was it just like I'll brush it off and just keep doing me?
Nah, I really just brushed it off. There's so much positive that I've never really been that type of person to grasp onto the negative and like make it affect me.
Gotcha.
Um, and at that point, I was still so arrogant and just vain. It didn't really matter
Yeah.
if people were making fun of me. I thought I was the shit at that point. So it's like, it really didn't matter to me. But when you grow up, you get some hindsight is always 2020. You get some perspective, and just looking back, I wouldn't have called myself arrogant at that time because I had no idea. And if I knew I was being arrogant, I probably would have changed up how I was moving. But at the time, I
Mm.
just thought I was confident. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And
That's
it's such a
funny.
thin line when you're younger between confidence and arrogance,
Hmm.
and how to properly display both. So it's like it, it didn't really affect me at that time. I would say later on, when I like started reflecting more, did a little more like introspection, just looking into myself. I felt like at that time, certain comments would get to me. Just because I think I was more open to criticism of myself. And then in doing so, I allowed other people's criticism to seep in as well.
Gotcha.
So I think that would be the only time it kind of affected me, where I would be like, I'd latch onto a comment and like really think about it.
Hmm.
But it really didn't affect my everyday life at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a more of a fleeting thought for like 5-10 minutes, and then I'd move on.
Okay. Fair. Now, what brought the transition to, all right, I'm done with these skits and I'm gonna branch off into establishing like the Extra Gravy Mix show? What
Well,
was that like?
for the most part, it's not that I got even tired of the skits or anything like that. It was more so, it's just so difficult to put it all together when it's one person. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, at the end of the day, you're wearing a million hats when you're putting on a YouTube video. You're a director of photography, you're doing lighting, you're doing sound, and you got to pay attention to all these things, plus manage all these personalities and get them to buy into what you're trying to display to the audience. So
Yeah.
it's a crazy juggling act. It's one that no one can do by themselves, just like with all these moving parts. And so I think I was naive in that I didn't like want to delegate tasks
Mhm.
and pay people to work with me. I kind of just wanted to save as much money as possible, and plus I trusted myself and my vision more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And putting it in somebody else's hands kind of felt like I might be compromising it in some way. And so it just made more sense for me to do everything by myself. But then doing so is so exhausting. Like,
Yeah.
after a while, and then on top of that, you have people flaking because they're not getting paid, right? So it's like
Yeah.
it's very easy when you're not getting paid for something to come up with an excuse to not do something. It could
Yeah.
snow, it could rain, and you could automatically be like, oh, my grandma's sick, or this happened, or that happened.
Yeah.
And I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I do the same thing. I'm not going to bash anybody for doing that, but it gets frustrating after a while. And
Hmm.
that mixed with all the work, it was just a little bit too much. So I started to try to figure out a way how I could still have the same impact, but work a little bit less and work smarter and not harder.
Yeah. Now I'm kind of in the same boat because I wouldn't call it naive. More so, it's just you have this brainchild and you want it to come to fruition how you want it. So it feels like it's a lot of control that you just want to keep.
Yeah.
Now I'm slowly trying to give up some of that power when it comes to having a team with me. But with you,
Mhm.
you've progressed now, and like with your mix show, with your podcast, and like you have a team now. How did you go about getting that team? So before
Mhm.
you wore all the hats, you were editor, director, writer, actor,
Yeah.
casting. So it's
Yeah.
like
Everything.
now, what aspects of that team are you willing to part with and let somebody else handle?
Yeah. I think it was a learning experience just moving through, especially trying to start getting to acting. I think that was like the first taste I got of somebody working with me to get me more money and to get me more opportunities and
Mm,
making my life easier. That was like the part that really stood out to me. And it's not like I was out looking for auditions by myself or anything like that, but I realized how much more tasking it would have been if I was, and
mm,
that this person was getting me these opportunities. And now I'm like, oh, maybe I should get a manager, and a manager could handle my email stuff and all that. And then that happened, and it was like made my life 10 times easier again. And at the same time, I was building out my podcast. And even with the podcast, it's a little difficult because it's kind of like the YouTube videos once again.
mm,
I set up recordings. I have the recording equipment. I have the mics. I'm the one coming up with content and producing the show every week. I'm the one spearheading and being the A mic, and spearheading the conversation and leading it the majority of the time. So at the same time, I had to make people buy into the idea of joining this for
mm.
little to no pay.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Build on the longevity. Like the vision I have for things is never short term. I
Hmm.
don't do things for free on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's an end goal, you know what I mean? And um I like to match my passion with the way I make my money.
Yeah.
If I'm not passionate about it, I'm not going to make money doing it. That's just how I'm built. I don't know how some people are wired where they just go to some shit that they hate every day. I personally can't do it. And so if in doing so with finding individuals that were just as passionate or in similar fields, um that was a very key thing for me. Like intern on our show, he reached out to me and was like, yo, if there's any way I can help the show, I would really love to be a part of this show in
Mm,
any capacity, anywhere that I can. I just support this and I believe in it so much. And we met up like the next day. Like, you know what I
nice.
mean? It's that
Yeah.
simple for me. And I also go with like just a feeling that I get when I talk to somebody. If I get the urge or I feel the need to talk to you about a project or whatever the case may be, I just follow that. And it's led me to a great team so far.
How many episodes are do you have recorded on?
Of Extra Gravy,
Yeah.
we have over 250.
Nice.
Um, for Concession Stand, I believe we're approaching 100 episodes.
Nice. Congratulations with that,
Actually,
man.
yeah, I think we're approaching 100 episodes. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Cause yeah, you're on my Spotify rap list for podcasts.
Nice.
So it's like it's really cool to see. And what was it like seeing your show on a billboard at Dundas Square? How
Mhm.
did that happen? How did that come to fruition? And then what was it like when you got to see it in your city? Like you were representing.
Yeah, man. It was dope because on that same Young and Dundas corner, I used to hand out flyers for extreme fitness and try to get people to sign up for 8 hours a day in the smeltering heat. So it was
That's
like
funny.
it came full circle, like just seeing it up there. Shout out to Spotify Canada for reaching out to us and asking us to be a part of that. It was Asian Heritage Month,
Mhm.
and Norm is Filipino, obviously, on our show, and so they wanted to feature our podcast for that month
Yeah.
as part of their like list of different podcasts. And yeah, man, it was amazing. It was around the same time we had done a Foot Locker sponsorship where we did like an outdoor podcast during the pandemic in collaboration with Foot Locker, and like they outfitted us and stuff like that. So at that time it was just really cool to see all these things, and like that's the long-term vision I was talking about. Like
Mhm.
when I got into podcasting, after a bit I started doing my research on different podcasts and what sponsorship packages and deals that they're getting, and seeing how you can make money from this. Like it's fun to do. I love conversating, but eventually it's like we're doing 2 hours and a half, 3 hours every week. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's a large chunk of time to be working and not making money.
Mhm.
Uh, and so it was like, and plus on top of that, when I get other people involved, I don't want them not wasting, but like essentially not making money for their time, and they're
Yeah.
working as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, I looked into those and saw that, okay, if we build an audience, we get retention time, um, we can possibly start getting ads. And I knew it would take a while because even some of my favorite podcasts, 5 years, 6 years in is when they started taking off. So I'm like, it's gonna take time, just like all things, and I'm fine with that. And
Yeah.
luckily it panned out, and we've been getting some good sponsorship deals and doing some great collaborations.
Nice. I'm gonna need some inside info on that for sure. As I try to set up this podcast that I'm trying to launch, I'm just curious about that entire world because it's like,
They reach out to you. That's the thing. It's like
hmm,
it's so there's no the thing about podcasting is no timeline for it. You know what I mean?
hmm,
It's not like YouTube where you put up a YouTube video and there's a pay, you sign into YouTube, you see all these videos just on your page. Like there's nothing like that for podcasts. You have
hmm,
to kind of know the podcast is there to search for the podcast. And so I think that's the next step for podcasting, is some sort of hub where people can discover new podcasts.
hmm,
And in doing so, it'll make it easier for PR companies and and brands to find podcasts that align with their sponsorship deals. So I think it's a problem with just like the timing. Like podcasting is still in its infancy, and
yeah,
so you're not going to get it like that. But there are certain like networks, like for example, we just joined Red Circle, and it's a company based out in LA, founded by the two guys that co-founded Uber,
wow,
and essentially they do automated ads for your podcast,
hmm,
and you get paid that way. And so like they insert automated ads according to like what your topic and your audience is and stuff like that. And yeah, it's been going pretty well so far.
nice. Now, like you say, they insert ads. So I listen to podcasts where it has those ads where it breaks, and then
Hmm.
you hear whatever ad it is, and then there's those other podcasts where the
They read it.
hosts will read it. What's
Yeah.
the difference with those?
Difference is just price point, to be honest. Like you're
Hmm,
probably getting paid more for the read
gotcha.
than just the automated joint.
Yeah.
That's literally the only difference. It's still the same. Like pre-roll is 30 seconds, mid-roll
Hmm,
is a minute, and that's just standard. And you get paid. Even the ads, like they all vary in price points, right? Like you can get
yeah.
$12 per thousand people for one,
Yeah.
or you can get $3 per thousand people for one. So it's like it
Hmm,
all depends.
yeah. So what prompted the branch off from Extra Gravy Mix Show to Concession Stand?
I've obviously I'm an actor. I always love TV and film, and I just don't have a lot of people to discuss it with, I find,
Hmm,
other than Twitter, like just going on Twitter and talking about it. And I kind of wanted to create a community that enjoyed TV and film and enjoyed breaking it down the way I enjoy breaking them down, and just dissecting the little things I love and I hate about certain films.
Yeah.
And Gabe is somebody that we've had on the podcast before on Extra Gravy, and he's also a stand-up comedian just like myself. I had him on my first stand-up show, and so it was like we had great banter, and we always ended up talking about TV or film in some capacity. And so I was just like, hey man, like, and he had a podcast before as well, so I knew he knew what he was doing in that arena. So I was just like, yo, like, let's start a podcast. Let's start, discussing TV and film, and like hopefully we can start doing live shows where we can sit and watch them with our community, and just be able to discuss this stuff. Like I love talking about it, you know what I mean? And if I can find a way to do so with more people, I'm always gonna do that.
Fair.
Yeah.
Dope. Cool. Now you said you're branching out into the Twitch world. What's your niche in Twitch? Are you video gaming?
I have no niche. I just play shit. Y'all watch. I don't know.
Okay,
I'm not the best.
So you're the video gamer type then on that.
I love playing video games. I play video games every day for sure. But like, I'm definitely not the ninja type player where he's like completely dominating and wiping out teams. Like, I'm not that guy. I just enjoy playing. And I was like, hey man, if I'm playing this often, I might as well join the Twitch community and make some money while I'm doing it.
Yeah, because my friend also said that he's starting that too, and like he built this office space just for that, to have like and he has like similar lighting and going on too.
Yep. Everybody got the LED lights. That's like standard
Like,
Twitch package.
Have that?
That's a standard Twitch package.
Now,
some LED
what
lights.
Games are you playing? What's your
Apex, Call of Duty? That's pretty much it.
And then, are you at the? I guess the level at where like you need a moderator for your room, or
no, not at that level at all yet. No, I think because I'm not super consistent with it. I'm not on there every day. I don't have a schedule, and I'm waiting to get next year. I want to get a PC so I can actually do it like correctly, get all those like little fun things that they have on the screen and alerts and all that stuff. So right now I can't do that. So it's like I don't feel like putting my all into it if I can't put on like a good show. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's like, so you just literally, do you play other people? Do you invite people to play on your platform?
People play. We have a little Discord. That a friend of mine started a Discord during quarantine with just video gamers in Toronto, like that just love video games. And you have the different video game channels in there, and you can go and be like, yo, who's playing, who's on, yo, I need 2 people, stuff like that. So it's been fun. And we're gonna be rolling out a video game league next year that I'm putting together. I'm putting together a video game league with a couple friends of mine, and we have like a crazy space with Red Bull that we're going to be doing it at. And I'm excited just to get that community more things to do, especially in the city. Like, I just find everybody's so focused on partying. There's not much events outside of partying that you can attend on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. And so like I've started Midnight Society, which is like a listening party where we can discuss new music the night it drops. Right at midnight, we're listening to it.
That's cool.
So that has been fun. And then the video game league is another one of my interests. And I feel like there's so many really good video game players in the city. I think in 3 years, they're supposed to finish a esports arena where Ontario places.
Wow.
They're building a huge like ACC type esports arena there.
Jeez,
And esports is just taking off like crazy. Like in China, those guys are celebrities, just like actors and
man. Like
out there.
Like, I'm still shocked at the amount of money that's in video games.
So I just watched the Video Game Awards last night, and it looked like the Oscars. Like, it was crazy.
And then, when does this launch, this league that you're starting?
We're still waiting on a tentative date, but like we're hopefully gonna get it started before spring.
Wow.
We have like a bunch of different video game tournaments and leagues in mind to do.
Yeah.
We're just kind of trying to settle on final ideas and what we're gonna do moving forward.
And then is it going to be at a location or is it going to be remote?
Yeah, it's gonna be at Red Bull's gaming sphere. They built a gaming sphere here during the quarantine, and
Damn.
it's a private space, so like people can't just go there.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why we want to get the gamers in there, because it's like you can't just show up. You got to kind of be like, it's kind of like an invite only thing that'll make
Yeah.
people feel more included in like a community as well. So yeah, it'll
That's
be dope.
wild.
The
That's
space
so
is
wild.
crazy. TVs
And
everywhere,
then like what is it
bleachers, all
feel like
types of shit.
where like people are going to face each other in whatever game?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Congratulations, man. There's nothing like that in
Thanks.
Toronto, is there?
Not that I know of. I know there's probably like some underground stuff where like people just do it. And I know there are some like video game bars in the city that hold tournaments like in their basement or whatever, but it's not like on a big level. Like me personally, I want it to be like jerseys,
Yeah.
Western Conference, Eastern Conference,
Damn.
refs, like all that stuff. So yeah, we're thinking big with this one.
I'm just like going back in my head back to you remember what is it, video game arcade?
Yeah.
Man.
Strabolopoulopoulos. Nick
That's a
Strabolopoulopoulos. Is that his real name?
George, isn't it? George Stroumboulopoulos?
Or No, that's the real guy. But the guy on Video Game Arcade Top 10, his name was Nick Papadopoulos or something like that.
Oh,
And underneath it would always say, "Is this his real name?" I'm like that. I don't know why. It always used to kill me when I was a kid.
Man, that's wild. I even though I don't
Thinking
play
about
video,
starting a dodgeball league too.
that'd be
I
dope.
think dodgeball would be fire.
You need to definitely holler at Iggy about that because he does like the every few months he'll do like a dodgeball night. So like
Okay.
recruit his players and
Yeah, I want it to be citywide. Like I want it to be just like the video game, like Western Conference,
yeah,
Eastern Conference, playoffs, all that stuff. And like just get a gym, rent out weekly,
yeah.
and just do it that way. I think it'd be fun.
Because I remember we'd play at the Pan Am Center,
Oh, sick.
big
That place is
space,
nice too.
and just to throw those, what's the
Styrofoam
yeah,
balls.
like just whipping each other in the face with those.
Yeah.
Man, but no, that's I didn't even know this video game part. So like I'm is this 2 degrees
I haven't
podcast
announced it. Like I haven't
exclusive?
announced it officially yet or anything like that. I've just been like talking about it on the podcast and stuff.
Nice. And then there's just so many possibilities that open up from this where and then are you gonna like take the best players and make like a select league and travel to
I mean, there's so much that's possible because for the most part, like for example, the 2K Toronto's 2K team, like their official 2K team, they've won championships. Raptors Republic, they practice in that same sphere. Like they practice there daily. That's their practice center. And then you have League of Legends players that practice there and stuff like that. And so you never know. Like there's so many people that play at home that are sick that have no idea that they could be making a career out of it.
yeah.
And anything's possible. Anything's possible. You're gonna see
Now
coaches there scouting probably and shit.
what? Okay,
Yeah, man.
coming from a
Those
person
leagues are serious. Like the 2K league, I watched go watch the finals of the 2K league last year.
yeah.
It's crazy. They have
So
audience members.
fill me like I've seen those, but now like fill
Yeah.
me in when you say like a 2K team, like I'm thinking now in ball you got 5 players. Is there
Yep.
like you
Same
got
thing.
5 players?
So you got 6 players because you need a sub, and then a coach. And yeah,
What?
everybody plays their own position, and they have their own creative players that they use for each position, and that's how they play.
Now with these created players, are there caps at abilities or
Yeah, they're all like whoever they're facing is 99, just like they're 99. So realistically,
Hmm,
like you're all just on the same level, just different skill sets, I
yeah.
guess, and different strategies.
Hmm. Now I'm thinking where it's just like now because it's a video game, like would you have skins and stuff for your players where you can have Master Chief on your squad?
I don't think so. Nah, not in
So
basketball.
okay, no, that'd be dope though. If
They
you could
all
like,
have the same. They all have the same jerseys, just like in the real life. Like they have the same. They have the customized jerseys, I guess, that 2K hooks them up with.
gotcha. Because I
For
was
their
gonna say where
team.
it's like it'd be dope if there was like so you have a squad where it's normal people, and then you have a next squad where they look like the Monstars.
I mean, it would look good visually. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how much copyright they run into with that.
like they like because with EA, like I don't know, I feel like you can mix in other.
They've had celebrities, I know, in
Yeah.
2K, but not like characters. They've had
Mm,
like whoever was in the celebrity all-star game, they usually put in the game.
yeah,
So they've had like Snoop Dogg, they've had Bow Wow, Drake has been in the game.
that's
Like there's so
cool.
many different people.
Yeah.
Drake was
Well,
actually super nice in that game.
as in his skills.
Yeah, and in that 2K, I remember he was actually, I think they made him like a really good shooter or something.
Mhm. That's funny. Oh man. All right. So you got that going on. You got your podcast, and now I want to explore the side where like you're trying to establish now yourself in the acting scene.
Hmm.
So what has that journey been like while trying to balance out your podcasts and
Yeah,
your Twitch? Like how are you able to do all of that? Because like I had to put aside so many things just
yeah.
to focus on acting, and you're doing it while doing so much more. And it makes me feel like,
Mhm.
fuck, I should have just done so much more.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's fun. The acting stuff's fun. I landed a role like last month, but because I'm not vaccinated, I couldn't do it
Ooh,
because the shoot time was too close.
mm,
So that's the only bummer. But for the most part, it's like I don't know. I see acting as the hobby out of everything I do. Like it's not the main thing. Like I'm way more focused on like stand up right now
yeah,
than actual acting and the podcast and stuff like that. So for the most part, acting is just like a hobby. So something
mm,
I kind of do on the side. It's so I'm not in school. I'm not doing self-tape tutorials like nonstop. Like I get the audition and I'm like, all right, this one seems okay.
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'll just do it. And for the most part, especially in the past like year and a half, it's been self-tapes, right? So
Mm,
it's not like I have to go 30-40 minutes
yeah,
downtown and do a 30-second audition and come back home or
yeah,
anything. That's the most annoying, honestly, is you get an
yeah,
audition and it's like 2 takes, 30
yeah,
seconds, you're in
yeah.
and out, and it took you 40 minutes to get there. That
Oh
shit's so
my
annoying.
God. Like,
But then the self tapes and the Zoom auditions are so impersonal, and you're like,
yeah,
I wish I was in the room. So it's like you can't win.
yeah. No, it's that's part of the reason why I decided to just road trip and live in the truck is like I don't have to be glued to a city.
Yeah,
Because if back in the day it was like, okay, you have an audition tomorrow or you have an audition next week and it's at an establishment. Now it's like,
yeah,
okay, you have an audition and I can just tape it. Okay,
mhm,
cool. So that means I really don't need to be in one city. So I've
yeah.
kind of
And
taken
realistically,
advantage of
you
that.
guys want to see us on camera anyways. So
Yeah.
what are we
Man.
doing here? We go to the
Ooh.
audition and someone's in another room watching us on camera.
Oh man. Now from your comedic perspective, I'm curious to hear an audition room nightmare for you.
um, I don't know if I've had one.
Okay.
An audition room nightmare.
Man, I
I've
think
only
that
seen things happen to other people while in the audition room. I've
like
always been
what? What do you
pretty,
how are you seeing other
like I've
people in
seen
the
people get so nervous that they just start stuttering, like they can't stop,
oh
or
no.
like someone's just blatantly like it's like they're hearing what the person's saying, but they're not listening to the direction.
Hmm.
And we keep doing takes and they keep doing the same thing they did in the first take. And I'm like, are you not in the room?
That was one thing I hated about commercial auditions is when I was put in the room with someone else. And
Mhm.
I'm just like
You got to work with
experience
that.
Oh my God. And I'm
It's like
like,
a
dude,
group project.
but it's like a group project that kind of matters
Yeah,
because like
exactly.
I want this job, but the person you paired me with is complete trash. Please pair
And
me
the
with
more
some.
trash they are, the nicer they are to you too, which is it sucks because then you can't be a dick. They walk out, they're like, man, that was really great. Thank you so much, man. I was like, yeah, thanks. That
You
was
know we
great.
didn't get the part right.
Just wasted my entire afternoon. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember those days, and I'd get so mad that I had to waste a bus ticket because I'm spending bus tickets now.
I don't even care about the ticket. It's the time, honestly. It's the
Yeah.
time. Like, especially if I'm taking 30 minutes, 40 minutes to get there, and then 30
Oh,
minutes, 40 minutes back.
yeah.
Plus, I had to wait because they're
Yeah.
behind on auditions. It's like, oh my God, man, what are we
Man.
doing?
Ugh. All
Yeah.
right.
And
So
that's a
then
part of the reason why I started YouTube, man, is like, I don't like waiting. You
do
know what I
your own
mean?
thing.
Like, I can
Yeah.
control my own destiny with YouTube.
Yeah.
And so with with the acting world, there's a lot of waiting. It's a lot of hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait.
Hurry up
Yeah.
and wait. And so that shit's annoying as hell to me. I can't
That's so
function under
funny.
that.
That's funny. Yeah, and like you're on set, you get there and you're just sitting there
They tell you to
waiting.
get there like 5 a.m. and you're not even in makeup until 8.
Mhm.
And it's just like, okay, why did you think I wasn't gonna make it? Like, if you
Yeah.
didn't think I was gonna make it, at least an hour, at
Yeah.
least an hour, like
Yeah.
not 2, 3 hours ahead. I just went to a set where that happened to me, where I had to be there for like a certain time, and it was my girlfriend's birthday, so I was like trying to get them to shoot the next day, and
Mhm.
that couldn't happen. And so I'm like, all right, fine. If push comes to shove, this is my times. Gave them time. They still put it 2 hours before the time I said that I could do it. I still accepted it. Get there. Why am I waiting 2 hours? 2 hours. I could have gotten there the time I asked. I was livid, bro. I was
Oh man.
so fucking
And
hot.
it's so funny too, and it's like it's such a crazy revelation when you start experiencing the acting world is as much as like we're getting paid the in comparison to like everything else on set where it's like camera costs more than us, the food, the craft services
Yep.
cost more than us, and it's like
Mhm.
people think that, especially in the grander scheme of things, when they look at, let's say, oh, how much Robert Downey Jr. is getting paid on Avengers. Well, it's like, well, if he's getting paid that much, consider how much more money is going into other aspects of that
Yeah.
film. And
Location scouting alone.
oh my God, it's mind boggling to just see how they literally just throw money away. And
Yeah.
that's what they do when they bring you on set 2 hours early and then decide to keep you for another 6 hours and then realize that your shot only takes 5 minutes.
Yep. Yep.
Oh man. So now you mentioned that you're more focused on your stand-up than your acting.
Mhm.
And what has that ride been over quarantine where Toronto's been locked down, I'd say the most in Canada? Because I remember
Mhm.
when Norm came out to Vancouver to do that show, like one of his first shows back. So what's it been where it's just like the stand-up
I
scene?
I just haven't been doing stand up. I haven't done stand up since before the quarantine. Me,
Mm,
Norm, and two of my boys went on a tour in Montreal. We did a couple clubs out there. I had my first headlining gig scheduled the day that they announced lockdown. And
wow.
so the first time I was gonna do like 30 minutes on stage.
Hmm.
It was supposed to be practice. I wanted to practice there from eventual show where I'd record my first comedy album.
Hmm.
And so I had put together a show. It was the second iteration of what I had done previously in October, which is my first one. And so I had people that had come to the first one that are like, oh, I'm there, bro. Like tickets sold quick, sold out the whole show. I think the morning of, people were messaging me like, yo, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna happen. And I'm
Hmm.
like, what are you talking about? No, the world hasn't locked down since the Spanish flu. We'll be fine. And by 3:00 that day, they said emergency lockdown. Everything's closed. You can't go anywhere. And I was really sad. I remember being really sad. But at the same time, it was like, you got an opportunity with COVID, I feel like, to like just slow down and reflect on everything and have a period of time where you essentially are like a little kid, like you have no responsibilities. The government's paying for giving you allowance. And you don't you're not really spending it anywhere, so you can shop. People were killing Amazon, people were buying clothes, all types of shit. So yeah, I was just getting up and eating food and ordering Uber Eats and playing video games every day, and it was amazing. Having nothing to think about in terms of responsibilities.
Yeah. Damn, that was a good time. Serb held it down.
Serb was good times, man. Good times.
That's funny how you say it like that, where it's like, yeah, it was a particular time where you could say that, yeah, no, I just got paid to just stay at home, and that was it. And
it's my favorite passive income.
It was also a fun time because it was like, I think that was the only time that my mom like stopped asking about how my acting is going.
Because she knows it's like, it's not going nowhere right now.
So and I'm getting paid. I'm good. Rent's covered. Yeah, no, we're all right.
Exactly.
Now we're almost running out of time, and I wanted to dive into your expertise on oxtail. Because you were the oxtail god.
Yes.
And so what is your, let's start with this. What should the price of oxtail be?
It should be free. Let's start there. It should be free. For those who don't know, oxtail started free. It was the leftovers. It was the scraps. They didn't even want it. All right. And then we made that shit hot. All right. And so, I mean, we should just have a throwback Thursday, I think, once a month, where oxtail is free for a day, just for the feels. At least in Black History Month. At least.
Just one Thursday of the year. Just
one Thursday out of February where fucking oxtail is free. And I guarantee you, no one will complain about the prices anymore.
That's so funny.
Because we understand it's worth way more than the price says.
Yeah. Oh my god.
In terms of like taste and how good that shit is, it should be lobster price. You know what I mean? Like lobster and crab and all these quote unquote fancy things. That should be the oxtail price. But realistically, I feel like it should be more accessible. And I'm thinking like a large plate, $10. Yeah, I don't think that's asking for much. I think a 10 is good.
I'm happy with that. Now, here's I'm curious to hear this. If you have a confession moment of what is the highest you've ever paid for oxtail?
Oh man.
And then how was that oxtail?
Fuck. I think I paid like $38.
Excuse
for
you?
Large, and I green ting, and yeah, it was not worth it. I was actually, it's funny enough, I was actually on set in Niagara Falls, I believe it was. Shooting a Falls View casino commercial, and they gave us like an hour and a half. I was like, we just gotta set this up and that up. I'm like, I'm gonna go get some food. Because craft service is not hitting today. I don't know what was going on with crafts, but it was just not good.
Craft service has suffered since the quarantine.
Oh yeah. I saw that coming.
Yeah,
saw that coming, for sure.
That was
no more Chinese food.
Oh my god.
No more delicacies.
Nothing. Anyways, yeah. So Niagara Falls.
It's almost borderline airplane food at crafts now. It's pretty bad. But so I went and found this I found a Jamaican spot just randomly. I was like, I was in an Uber and I saw it and I was like, oh, let's go stop there. Idiot. I don't know why I thought getting Jamaican food in Niagara Falls was a good idea, but I suffered the consequences. It was, I don't even think I finished it. I think I ended up throwing it out and just getting more food.
What is the marker then for it's like if you walk into a Jamaican shop,
Mhm.
what are red flags and what are green flags?
Red flags. If they say hi to me as soon as I get in, what are we doing here? What's with all this customer service? I don't like that. Um,
You let the
if you
food
walk
talk. If the
in,
food's good, then they don't have to have good customer service.
not at all, not at all. If you walk in and those little metal pans with the food inside aren't covered,
Mm,
horrible. If you go to the back and there isn't at least one person that isn't black, horrible.
mm,
There's always at least like one Asian guy or one
yeah.
like just spicy white guy that just is back there for some reason. What else is indications? Oh, if we walk in and there's no just black heroes on the wall, if
Mm.
there's no Usain Bolt picture, a random picture of Obama posed up, something Michael Jackson, yeah, it's probably trash. If you walk in and the radio's playing, not dancehall or reggae,
Mm.
probably trash. There's a lot of factors. A lot of factors.
That's funny. Now, I've been to restaurants where like they'll have oxtail on the menu, but then it's gentrified in the way that they'll like serve it up to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, when they plate the rice, they'll put it in a bowl
Braised,
and then turn the bowl over and you have a nice dome of rice. And
yeah,
it's like, what's your take when it comes to being, because like you'll be in those suburban neighborhoods and sometimes and then just randomly on the menu, they'll have like, it'll be the whitest menu and then oxtail.
that's why you don't order it. That's why you don't order it. If you see that menu don't match the aesthetics, it's not. It's a no go. It's a no go.
That's hilarious. Marlon, man, just want to say thank you again so much for coming out.
Thanks for having
And
me, man.
yeah, no, it's just fun, like, because I've been fortunate enough to have you interview me a couple times, so I just had to bring it full circle and get you on here and hear
Yeah,
your
man.
thoughts and you doing most of the talking now for this one, whereas before it's just me running my mouth. So yeah, again, man, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for
Much
having me, man. Good luck
congratulations
on the road
for,
trip.
oh my God, like I can't wait to learn more about your video game league. I'll definitely pass that information on to my buddy because like they him and his friends they just game just for fun and I guess like it'd be a fun outlet for
Yeah,
them, especially because it's like it has that growing industry as well.
yeah,
So I think they definitely figure that out.
for
But yeah,
sure.
all right, everybody. 2 Degrees podcast brought to you by Play On Foundation. Marlon Palmer here, and check him out on the concession stand on his podcast, the Extra Gravy Mix Show. And if you see him on YouTube, if you see all those old school videos, yo, share those because those are the classics, those are the hits, those are the OG videos. But other than that, Marlon, thanks again for coming.
Thanks for having me, bro.